Well, right at the top, we've got some breaking news that's just coming in. Captain Sunil James, the Indian Merchant Navy officer who's been languishing in jail in Togo for past 5 months, has now been released along with one of his 2 other sailors.
An MEA spokesperson says both men are now with India's High Commissioner to Ghana, Jiva Sagar. He had arrived in Togo yesterday to meet its president. James's family has been seeking his release following the death of their infant son. On Wednesday, they received a phone call from the Prime Minister's office saying talks between Togo and India had been progressing well to secure Captain James's release.
Well, James had been arrested on allegations that he and his crew had assisted a pirate attack on their own ship. For more, let me quickly go across to Jaskirat Singh Bawa, who's joining us from the newsroom this morning. Jaskirat, what do we know about the current status? Hectic negotiations had gone on for several weeks now.
Absolutely. The hectic negotiations in Togo at least reached the head of the state of that country, and now we actually have it reaching this stage where we are learning from Ministry of External Affairs that Captain James and another sailor who was jailed along with him have been released, and by the later half of today they should be well on their way back home. Of course, it's a bittersweet experience for the family, while they would be happy about Captain James's release, but of course it is in the middle of a huge tragedy in the family with the death of his toddler child, in the middle of which he's actually having to come back. Huge relief perhaps to the wife also, who's had to go through the ordeal of having lost a baby and having her husband arrested in a far off country. But now with Captain James on his way back, perhaps some of those wounds could be healed.
Jaskirat, do we know any details about whether charges against both Captain James and his men have been dropped, or whether this is a temporary reprieve for them?
Here, only the initial information has come in about confirming that he has been released along with the other sailor, as well as the fact that they should be on their way back in the later half of the day. Now, whether this involves dropping of charges or a presidential or prime minister a pardon from that side, we still yet to get a further clarity on that aspect as to what really is the fine print behind the release of Captain James.
All right, Jaskirat, also tell us about all the 3 sailors who were in fact in custody. From what is emerging right now, we believe 2 have been let off, including Captain Sunil James. Any more clarity about the status of the 3rd sailor?
The Ministry of External Affairs has only confirmed the release of 2 people yet, including Captain James and another sailor. We do not have any information, and the Ministry of External Affairs is still, for the time being, tight-lipped about the other sailors. We're still awaiting further information on that. What we do know right now is only about the release of Captain James and the other sailor.
Jaskirat, can you help us understand how those men will be brought back? Will they first be flown back to Ghana, where India has its High Commission, and then over to Delhi, or would it be straight from Togo across?
The Ministry of External Affairs has in fact made arrangements for their return. However, now there was an Indian delegation which was visiting Togo, so it is believed that it is a direct flight from there. Of course, they will require some refueling in between, so there will be a stopover. However, it is believed that that delegation itself would be bringing Captain James and the sailor back to India. Once again, this is going to happen within the next 12 to 15 hours, going over to the second half of today. But we are given to understand from the Ministry of External Affairs that they would in fact be brought back on the same flight, special flight, with which in fact we had the Indian delegation also visiting. But of course the delegation was also visiting through a flight, the normal flight over here. The arrangements that we're given to understand are special.
All right, Jaskirat, just stay on with me for a moment more. We have Avni Madapa. She is the sister-in-law of Sunil James, who has just been released from Togo, from that prison in Togo where he'd been languishing for the last 5 months. Your first reaction is a big relief for the family. You had been fighting for his freedom for weeks now. Avni, if you could hear me, wanted to know the first reactions from the family.
It is great. It's a news which it's a very, very relief. It's a big relief. We were very worried about Ivan. It's already been 16, 17 days. We've in fact changed him from the previous place. So it's a big relief. Finally, our battles have actually won. It's it's a triumph of human spirit. I mean, thank you, God. Firstly, thank you, the government of India. Thank you, everybody, the citizens of India, the media pressure has played such a huge role in this one. It's beyond belief, beyond words.
Avni, we're really thankful that you finally got what you've been searching for. The last night, I believe you received a call from the Prime Minister's office. Could you talk us through the details of what Prime Minister's office said to you?
I got a call at 7 p.m. from the Prime Minister's office, and it said that the High Commissioner from Ghana has met the President of Togo, a foreign ministry, and that the Togo President already knew about and that news did make us very hopeful, but we were not given a date or a time or anything of that sort. So that's what he told everyone, that this is what has happened. But it happened within a few hours. I mean, I always told everyone that Divan was taken from us just in a fraction of a second, in a minute, and it took just a fraction of a second for Sunil to get out of jail.
Right, Avni, of course, a sense of relief now, within the family, but certainly a heartbreaking story is Captain Sunil James is now going to return home to bury his dead son. But just take us through the arrangements that have been made. Have you told anything about by the Indian government about how is Captain James going to be brought back?
As of now, I don't have official confirmation from the PMO's office, maybe because this would have happened very late in the night. So I don't have a word from them. I don't know when he's returning. So I think they would definitely put him in a flight as soon as possible. But I really don't have a word because I think Togo works is 5.5 hours behind us. So all would have happened late in the night. So I'm still awaiting a word there.
Avni, we can confirm that the MEA spokesperson has released a statement saying that both Captain Sunil James and his sailor Vijayan have been released. They're now with the High Commissioner from Ghana, Mr. Jiva Sagar, who had gone across to meet the President in Togo yesterday. So we can confirm that news for you as far as official word is concerned. I wanted to ask you particularly about his release now, because he comes back, as my colleague Ruchika was saying, to a very difficult moment in the family.
It is a very difficult. It's actually very difficult, but you have to understand, we've been waiting to see Sunil for 6 months. We could not save Vivan, but at least we feel that there is some, I would say, satisfaction that we managed to save Sunil. Because Sunil, if you know, has been in jail, locked up for 6 months. And the last nail in the boat was that his son passed away. So there is a certain amount of victory that we managed to save one life.
That's right. It's going to be a difficult few days ahead for the family, certainly, as they see Captain Sunil James now return home after 5 months in jail. Avni, just wanted to know from you if there is any more clarity about the charges that Captain Sunil James was facing in Togo. Have those charges been dropped? Is this just temporary relief or is this permanent relief? What have you been told?
Actually, like I till yesterday, 2 o'clock, I was told that it will be a permanent release if a release happens, and the PM's office did not talk about any charges. In fact, the President of Togo assured them that I know about the case and I'll look into it. Till now, we've been told there are no charges per se. So, I mean, no serious charges. I am not too sure what charges. Even if they were, the PM's office has not mentioned any to me.